Hello, and welcome to our first special episode of Cheers. That's one woman's opinion. Today we are doing a rewatch of To Grandmother's House We Go in honor of Rhea Perlman's birthday. The cast of this movie is Ashley Olsen as Julie Thompson, Mary Kate Olsen as Sarah Thompson, Rhea Perlman as Shirley, Cynthia Geary as Rhonda Thompson, J. Eddie Peck as Eddie Popko, Stuart Margolin as Detective Grimm. Margolin died in 2022 from pancreatic cancer. Jerry Van Dyke as Harvey. Jerry Van Dyke is probably best known for Coach, and sadly, he also died in 2018 from heart failure, and he is the younger brother of Dick Van Dyke. Rick Polteruk as Santa. Polteruk died in 2021 from lymphedema. Leslie Carlson as the doorman. He died in 2014 from cancer. Florence Patterson as Great Grandma Mimi, and she died in 1999 from cancer. Andrew Wheeler as policeman. Venus Terzo as Stacy. Walter Marsh as the crotchety man. March died in 2005 from an undisclosed cause. Frank Lewis as the saxophone player. Doreen Ramus as old woman on bus. She died in 2018 from an undisclosed cause. Brian Lucas as customer. John Destry as secretary guard. Debbie Gregory as anchorwoman. Lorena Gale as waitress, and she died in 2009 from throat cancer. And also appearing in this movie, but not in the credits, are Andrea Barber, second viewer, Candace Cameron Bure, first viewer, Lori Laughlin, Winnow Lotto hostess, Michaelucci as fourth player, and Bob Saget as Winnow Lotto host. And sadly, Bob Saget died in 2022 from head trauma. And you may recognize these names, Andrea Barber, Candace Cameron Bure, Lori Laughlin, and Bob Saget, as they all starred in Full House with the Olsen twins. The movie was directed by Jeff Franklin, who also created Full House, and written by Jeff Franklin and Boyd Hale. And before we started with the summary, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Carolyn Mills, the host of this podcast. That's one woman's opinion. So now we'll jump into the summary. Sarah and Julie wake their mom up. Rhonda is a single mother, and the girls are hard for her. All they do is fight over everything. They are 6 and in kindergarten. Eddie is driving his truck and singing "Don't Fence Me In." And for those of you who are not familiar with "Don't Fence Me In," which was written by Cole Porter and made famous by Gene Autry, but I'm going to play a snippet of the Roy Rogers version, as that is the one that he thinks about all the time. Here it is.
Why kept Kelly looking like me was standing by the careless side. And when that girl said I'm spending the day, while that raised his head and cried, forgive me, land, rock the land on the sorry side of us. Don't fence me in.
He imagines himself a cowboy in the West. Eddie, a delivery man, arrives at the store where Rhonda works. He wants to date Rhonda, but she is not interested in him. On the news, the FPD bandits have stolen another delivery truck. I was trying to figure out what FPD stands for, and I didn't hear it in the movie, and I couldn't find anything. So if anybody happens to know, feel free to comment and share with us what that stands for, or if you have any thoughts of what it could be. Rhonda reads How the Grinch Stole Christmas to the girls. She tells them that it's time for bed, and they start jumping on her bed, yelling, "No bed, no bed." She carries them to their bed, but after she puts them in, they jump out again. She tells them there are 2 of them and only 1 of her. They tell her to get a daddy, and she says she wishes she could. Foreshadowing, I think, there. The next day, the girls make a snowman, and they're upset that there's not enough snow. Eddie comes and kills Frosty, as the girls tell their mom. Um, Eddie points out that it's in the 60s. I think he has 67 degrees. Because he explains that's why they're not going to get more snow. Eddie tells Rhonda he has a delivery for her, and she comes down. He is surprised that she has children and not happy about it. The package is for the girls from their great grandma Mimi. They open it and discover purple purses. Grandma wants them to come to Edgemont to see her and go to the carnival. I looked up to see where Edgemont was, and the only one I found was in South Dakota. So I'm assuming this takes place in South Dakota, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's just a made up Edgemont. Rhonda tells the girls they can't go. Eddie starts to leave, and Rhonda points out he didn't hit on her. I always thought this was strange because I've seen people complain about being hit on, but I've never seen. Well, no, that's not true actually, because in an episode of Cheers, Rebecca points out that Sam didn't hit on her once. I guess that's not true. I take back what I said. Stacy is over with her baby Matthew. She brought brownies for the girls. Rhonda tells Stacy she doesn't know how to tell the girls she has to work on Christmas. The dog steals the girls' brownies. Rhonda cleans up the mess and tells Stacy that the girls are always in some type of trouble. She says all she wants for Christmas is a couple of days away from everything, including her children. The girls overhear her and are upset that they made their mom cry. They decide to go to Grandma Mimi's house to give their mom a break. They pack their bags and break their piggy banks for money. They leave on the bikes. They leave on their bikes going in different directions. Then they argue over who is correct, but Julie gives in and goes with her sister. They get on the street and cannot cross because they are not allowed to cross without an adult. I think this is so cute when they get to the edge and they're like, we don't know what to do, we can't cross. They ride around the block, see a bus, and sneak on it because apparently their mother didn't tell them they're not allowed to take off on the city bus. Stacy comes out with a baby looking for the twins. She calls Rhonda, who says she will be home ASAP. Rhonda kicks everyone out of the store and closes. The girl asks the lady on the bus if it goes to Grandma's house. She asks where Grandma lives, and they tell her Edmonton. She tells them that Edmonton is 3 hours away. So when I Google mapped this, I found Howe, South Dakota, Bridger, South Dakota, Kadoka, South Dakota are all 3 hours away, and there may be some others, but those are some possible cities of where they could live. She says the bus they are on only goes between uptown and downtown, and the girls start arguing again. Rhonda finds the broken piggy bank and calls the police. She doesn't understand why her girls would run away from home. The girls see a street musician playing the saxophone and they start to dance. They see people throwing money in the saxophone case, so they throw in chicken wing bones. They explain to the man that they still have meat on them, and the man is like, "Oh, okay." I always think that scene is cute too, that they know they're supposed to donate something and they don't have the money because they need to get to Grandma's house. The girls see Eddie and decide since he brought the gift from Grandma, he must know where Grandma lives. Sorry, rough night. They sneak out onto his truck and Eddie takes off. The girls start arguing again. Eddie is singing another cowboy song. I didn't know what the name of that one was, that they played at that point, so I know it's a cowboy song. The girls start arguing again. Eddie is singing. Oh, I'm sorry, I just read that part. The girls come out because Julie has to go potty. Eddie asks, where the hell did you come from? The girls gasp because he said the H word. He runs Julie into the bathroom. Sarah explains that she told Julie to go before they left the house, but she never listens. Sarah is older by 1 minute, as Julie points out later in the movie. The detective tells Rhonda he will find the girls. The phone rings and Eddie tells Rhonda he has the girls and will drop them off after he finishes his deliveries. The girls want to help with the deliveries, but Eddie says he is a professional. But then he discovers he gets better tips, or actually he gets tips in general, because he says he never gets them before, when he lets the girls help and then he lets them help. He buys the girls ice cream and also buys another Winnow Lotto ticket. He plays their birthday, 6/13/1987, for the number, saying the girls have been good luck to him this far. The Olsen twins' birthdays are actually on 6/13/1986. I figured this out. The reason they had to change the year to 87 was because they needed that new number because since June is in six, 86 would be 86. So they'd have too many sixes. So they had to make it a different year and they went with 87. Back in the truck, he has the girls singing cowboy songs. They recognize the store their mom works for and becomes angry with Eddie because he lied and is taking them home. They call him a Grinch. Harvey, also known as Harv, and Shirley, the FPD bandits, attack Eddie and steal his truck. The girls are upset because they want to go to Grandma's, plus Eddie is gone and they do not know these new people driving the truck. Shirley and Harv open the back of the truck and are surprised to see the twins. Harvey asks who ships kids and how can they do it without a box. Shirley tries to talk to the girls, but she gets frustrated. The girls explain that they are trying to go to Grandma's, and Shirley and Harv step away to talk. Shirley tells her husband that they can be heroes by returning the children and maybe even get a big reward. They offer to take the girls to Grandma's, and the girls do not know what to do. Their mother has a rule: never get in the car with strangers, where she has another rule: never go outside after dark. See, they're very good at following the rule. So again, I point out if she had just said to them, don't run away from home, then this never would have happened. But then we never would have had a movie. So they decide to go with the bandits. The detective is back. While he and Rhonda are talking, Eddie checks out his lottery numbers. Rhonda gets angry that he cares more about the lottery than her, and about her girls, sorry, and asks him to leave. And this is a valid point. I mean, I get that it's a lot of money, but we're talking little children. Eddie is kind of a jerk in this scene. I like Eddie a lot in this movie, but yeah, he's definitely a jerk at times. Shirley and Harvey have taken the girls to a place that looks like Chuck E. Cheese. That has all the games, and they've got the people singing, but it wasn't Chuck E., so I don't think it was Chuck E. Cheese. Harvey is having a blast playing with the kids. Shirley's actually sitting at the table waiting for them to come eat their pizza. The detective is bringing Eddie home, but Eddie hears him mention the girl's birthday, 6/13/1987, and remembers they have the winning lotto numbers in their purse. He has the officer stop and let him out, saying his house is right there. He then rushes back to Rhonda's. He apologizes and saying he wants to help find the girls and explains they have the ticket. If Eddie had half a brain in his head, he would not have mentioned anything about the ticket and just been like, I want to find the girls. Then when he found the girls, he could get the ticket. But Eddie's not the brightest bulb in the. Yeah, okay, I don't know how that metaphor goes. He's not the sharpest Q-tip. No, that's not right either. Okay, you create your own metaphor because I'm like, go to the metaphor thing, that autism thing. Not good with that. Anyway, sorry, I lost my place. 1 second. Oh, Rhonda calls him a greedy little worm. I love that phrase. The phone rings and it's Shirley. She tells Rhonda that they found the girls and then has Sarah and Julie say hi. Then she says she was hoping for a $10,000 reward. Rhonda says, you don't want a reward, you want a ransom. Eddie says they will get the money. Shirley tells him to meet her at the ice rink at the carnival and wear a red hat. No police, or she will disappear. Back at their mobile home, Harvey is showing the girls pictures of him and Shirley, including their mugshots. He says they tried to knock over a store. The girls are confused by this expression. They literally think they tried to knock the store over. So then he says, we tried to hold it up. And one of the girls says, why, was it falling down? Shirley tells them that it's time for bed. Harvey wants to rob a toy store so the girls will have toys in the morning. I love Harvey. He's got such a big heart, even though he's a criminal and a bad guy, that he actually wants to rob something for these children that he's basically kidnapped, even though it wasn't an intentional kidnapping. It's what it was because they're holding ransom. He's just adorable. But obviously, Shirley tells him that's too risky, and them play with the VCR, learning to pull the serial numbers off. She tells him that kids love that. Harvey asks why they don't have kids. Shirley tells him, because we are criminals, sweetheart. Harvey says that is just their day job. The girls fight, but then they agree they want to go home because they miss their mom. Eddie has a truck of delivery items. I've been trying to figure out, did he find his truck and get it back, which makes no sense because they delivered all their items, but he was able to get it with no problem, or did he steal another truck that hasn't yet been delivered? Because they don't clarify that. But he tells Rhonda they will do what the bandits do: find the good gifts and pawn them for making money to get $10,000. Of course, this was also the next day, so it could have been that a new said the truck was refilled for deliveries. Not sure. He tells them they'll do what the bandits do: find the good gifts and pawn them for money to get the $10,000. Rhonda does not like the idea, but she's desperate and agrees. She decides to write down each gift and replace it later. I'm amazed that with her children missing, how level-headed she's thinking about not stealing and then making sure she even writes down each gift. Shirley is driving their mobile home. The girls are on Harvey's lap. They are singing "Over the River and Through the Woods to Grandmother's House We Go." Shirley is singing the wrong words as she sings about the money they're going to. Real Perlman's hilarious in that scene. Eddie and Rhonda count the money. Rhonda's upset because they are $12 short. Eddie takes off his watch and throws it into the pile and says they're only $2 short now. He tells her that it's ransom, not bus fare. They don't have to have the exact change. He then offers Rhonda powdered donut, but discovers only the powder is left because he ate all the donuts. Eddie tells her everything will be okay. She tells him she needs a red hat. He shows her a red hat that once belonged to Dale Evans, and for those of you who don't know, that was Roy Rogers' wife. In his little cowboy hall of fame, Rhonda asks him if he is a cowboy wannabe. Eddie says he is a cowboy gonna be. I also like that expression, like gonna be. He explains he is going to win the lottery and buy a ranch in Montana. They leave to get the twins, and Eddie drives Rhonda crazy singing cowboy songs. The detective asks the man at the pawn shop about some people, and the sketch they end up with is Eddie and Rhonda. They arrive at the carnival in Edmonton. Eddie accidentally scratches the sheriff's car while opening his door. He apologizes for the tiny little ding. He even says it adds character. Then the officer lets him go. Then he sees the sketches and thinks Rhonda and Eddie are the FPD bandits. He calls in, letting the other officers know. Rhonda notices at the ice rink everyone has a red hat on. Almost everyone. Eddie announces no red hats except for the cowboy hat that Rhonda's wearing. Rhonda feels guilty for making the girls run away. He tells her they wanted to give her a vacation. He tells her she's a good mom, and it's hard to take care of two girls alone. He says he can barely take care of himself. The detective heads to the carnival. Shirley and Harvey are there with the girls. The girls are angry because they want to go to Grandma's. Shirley leaves them to go to the ice rink, and Harvey takes the girls to ride the ponies. The girls yell, "Harvey is a liar! Harvey is a liar!" He tells them he also lied about being an elf, and Shirley isn't an elf either. The girls see Santa and decide he can help them find Grandma. Santa's cranky, and Sarah says he needs a nap. Shirley gets the money, and Harvey comes over and says they have to return the money because he lost the girls. Eddie says he needs to get back by 6. Rhonda tells him that Lotto is all he cares about and tells him to leave. Then she goes to find the girls. Harvey pulls Shirley to help, and Shirley reminds him, "We're the bad guys." Harvey says he keeps forgetting. The girls are on the sled. They see Harvey and Shirley and tell the reindeer to fly. The reindeer start to pull away. Eddie starts off on one of the ponies to catch the runaway sleigh and get the girls. Meanwhile, the fake antlers fly off, and the girls discover their reindeer are horses posing as reindeer. Eddie catches up and jumps onto the sleigh. Then he jumps onto one of the horses. Just before the horses are about to run off the cliff, he manages to stop them, bring the sleigh and the girls to safety. One of the cool things about this movie is whenever Eddie's thinking about being a cowboy, they show the actual footage of black and white cowboy movies. They end up at Grandma Mimi's house. Rhonda arrives very happy to see them. Sarah and Julie are concerned that they made their mom cry again, but she explains that she's crying because they're happy. They tell her that they left because she heard them say they were a handful. She apologized to her daughters and explained she didn't mean it. But sometimes people say things they don't mean when they are upset. But they are the most important things in her life, which she knows. Rhonda thanks Eddie and asks about the Winnow Lotto. He says he probably missed it, and even if he hit it, what's $1.3 million? After taxes, it's only $900,000. The detective arrives and arrests Eddie and Rhonda, thinking they are the bandits. The detective says the girls will have to stay with Grandma. Harvey and Shirley are walking past and hear the girls yell, "But it's Christmas Eve!" Harvey turns himself in and admits he and Shirley are the bandits. And they're not even elves. He says about the elf part because the girls are like, and they're not elves. They're all upset. And he's like, yeah, that part's true too. Harvey apologizes to Shirley. He tells her when they get out of prison, he'll be meaner, low down, and vicious, just like her. Shirley tells him, that's a beautiful dream, Harvey. Rhonda asks Eddie if he can go to win the lotto. He says it would require hitting every light and driving 100 miles per hour. Rhonda asks the detective for help. Another detective offers to take the bandits in. Everyone yells, Christmas Eve! Christmas Eve! The detective ends up taking it. The Winnow Lotto host announced how much the jackpot is worth. In case you forgot, it was $1.3 million. A man goes up to the audience and yells, win and spin. I always found the wording of this to be weird. I thought it should be spin and win because you can't win until you spin. So it seems like the spin should be before the win. He spins and gets $500. Bob Saget's character tells him he can get some lovely frozen food with that. Then a lady spins and wins $50,000. Eddie, Rhonda, and the girls just made it. The detective tells them Merry Christmas and wishes them good luck. The guard won't let them in, but Eddie slips the paper to Sarah, who sneaks in. Eddie says that it's his ticket, and Saget tells him to come on down. Eddie has the girls spin the wheel and says whatever he wins, he is splitting with them and their mother. It lands on the jackpot. I'm pretty sure we all saw that coming. Everyone cheers as balloons fall from the ceiling. Eddie and Rhonda kiss. Julie tells Rhonda, Mommy, you're missing all the fun. Rhonda tells her, No, I'm not, sweetheart. Oh, I wanted to point out, I forgot to do this earlier. Um, sorry, one second. I forgot her name. Rhonda, who was played by Cynthia Gary. Every time I see this, I forget who plays it, and I always think it's Marina McCormick, who played Marsha Brady on the Brady Bunch. Looks so much like her, and she can kind of sounds like her. And the scene especially reminds me, it makes me think of Marsha Brady, the adult Marsha from like the 1988 A Very Brady Christmas movies. I mean, it's the same actress that played both young Marsha and older Marsha, but it's the older one I'm thinking of. Anyway, they return the gifts they pawned off earlier, and there are two extra gifts. Eddie got them for Julie and Sarah. They're Princess Penny dolls, which earlier in the movie they were all excited when they saw. Eddie says that they have to make the last of the deliveries. Rhonda says after that they are going to Grandma's. Julie says they know how to get there, and Sarah adds, this time let's all go together. They finish making the deliveries while singing Santa Claus is coming to town. So, my thoughts on the movie overall. This was a favorite movie of mine as a child. Not only did I love the Olsen twins, but Cheers was and is still my favorite TV show ever. So I love Rhea Perlman, and Jerry Van Dyke is great in everything he does. And then my thoughts on Rhea Perlman as Shirley. Rhea and Jerry were my favorites in the rewatch. As a kid, the Olsen twins were my favorite, which makes sense because I was a kid and so are they. They're 6 years younger than me. I think that they did a great job, but as the FPD bandits, Perlman and Van Dyke played off each other so well. Shirley is that tough one with the brains in the group, and Harvey is dumb, compassionate criminal. I mean, he even says he forgot he was a bad guy. One of my favorite lines is Shirley telling Harvey, "Don't think. You're not good at it." Actually, sorry, you're no good at it. I hope you all enjoyed the special rewatch episode. And please join me in wishing Rhea Perlman, this is her cheers and then now, Rhea Perlman a very happy 77th birthday. And I will see you on Thursday for episode 5 of season 1, The Coach's Daughter. If you like this episode, please like, comment, and share. You can also join the Facebook group. Sorry, cheers, that's one woman's opinion. And you can also join us on Instagram at Cheers One Woman's Opinion Podcast. And you can also send comments, questions, etc. to the email at Cheers One Woman's Podcast at gmail.com. And that is One Woman's Opinion.